PG&E's monopoly territory is home to 17 million people.
Families already struggle to pay their bills.
PG&E was convicted of 91 felonies.
Really? I mean, what's next?
Greybeard Talks Solar. He is SolarWise.
Welcome to the Greybeard Talks Solar YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Really appreciate you checking us out, and please like, share, and subscribe if you find the information I'm going to share today to be of value to you in your solar journey. And so today I'm going to be talking about, well, let me give you some context. So we had the wildfires down in Los Angeles. Pacific Palisades was really, really substantially affected by that. Obviously, a lot of people lost their homes. And there was a little bit of a back and forth between President Trump and Newsom. Obviously, Trump believes that California leadership is to blame for what happened down there. The lack of water resources, the lack of planning, the lack of, in his words, good common sense, I think, is part of the blame. And then Newsom was defending his position, etc. So it got me, there's this back and forth between these two, right? President Trump and Newsom both going at each other. And Trump just recently turned on the water, sent the, I think the Reserve or the National Guard or the California engineers, whoever it was, to turn the water back on and flow it into California. So anyway, I was having a conversation with a homeowner recently, and it was regarding the solar equation. And this particular homeowner says, listen, I think Trump's going to save California from PG&E. I think he's going to save the state from Newsom's aggressive mismanagement of the state. And I had a little bit of a different perspective just based on how much research I've done, on where California energy comes from and what Trump would likely be able to do or not do to help us. And so this episode of the Greybeard Talks Solar channel is all going to be about, can Trump make a difference? Can he save California from Newsom's very aggressive green energy, costly energy future, or not? And so we're going to jump into that right now. So first things first, let me give you a little bit of context here. California is the fifth largest economy in the world, and California has a very, very aggressive goal of being carbon neutral by 2040. Okay, they want to have a net carbon neutrality of their green emissions, their carbon emissions by 2040, effectively the first state in the country to be able to do so, and the world's largest economy to become carbon neutral. So think of it as the big notch on the belt from a green energy perspective. Carbon neutrality is the goal by 2040. And then Newsom also signed an executive order in 2022 mandating that by 2035, every car for sale in California is going to have to be an electric vehicle, right? That's part of that push toward that 2040 carbon neutrality goal. And then what a lot of people don't realize right now is the California Air Resources Board is already actively, strategically, and quickly moving toward implementing green energy goals as well as part of the 2040 push to be carbon neutral. And what they're doing is, for example, in 2025, this is the year that they eliminated small off-road combustible engines for sale in lawnmowers, weed eaters, blowers, things like that. And now the California Air Resources Board, and this was from 2 years ago, is mandating that by 2030 in California, you will not be able to purchase a natural gas hot water heater or furnace in the state that isn't electric. It's going to be an electric version. You will not have natural gas versions of hot water heaters or furnaces in California. So one point of distinction here relative to that, think of it this way, that to me is extremely worrisome if I was a California homeowner without solar. And here's the reason why. Right now, most of you that are in California that get your energy from PG&E, your most onerous, most expensive, most challenging utility bills, greatest amount of cost to those bills comes in summertime because of air conditioning usage, right? So your worst bills are summer bills because of AC, okay? Well, what a lot of people don't realize that aren't in the energy industry is that heating air or heating water takes 3 to 5 times as much energy as cooling the same. So it's far more energy consuming to heat something than it is to cool something. So point of distinction here is that what's coming, for many of Californians that aren't aware, what's coming by 2030 is you'll have a house that gives you the worst utility bills that you've ever seen, most likely in wintertime versus summertime. Those bills could far exceed your normal summer bills, which are the most expensive bills for most people that are watching this video right now in California. So anyway, all of this is to kind of paint a picture of what's coming. This is part of the reason that PG&E, in preparation for these very aggressive green energy goals, PG&E is undergrounding so much of their utility lines. There's several different reasons. Number one, they need to update their infrastructure clearly. Okay, the fires that have been caused by PG&E equipment has been because it's older, unmaintained equipment. So they feel pressure. They definitely don't want to go bankrupt again. They don't want to end the lives of 85 souls like happened in Paradise, California because of the Camp Fire. So they're very aggressively trying to underground those lines, but it's also part of their upkeep and maintenance to get ready for what's coming, the loads, the energy amount that's coming in the future. And so they're making those investments now, today. You know, their big push right now is undergrounding lines at about $3 million a mile, which is a major reason California homeowner bills in the last year, 2024, we had 4 rate increases in the year alone. 2 of those, what was mentioned was maintenance cost, undergrounding lines, things like that. So all of this is to say that preparations are being made now. Whether you believe these rules are going to stay in effect, whether you believe they're going to be here by 2040 or 2035, whether Newsom's here or not, some other governor comes in and changes this. All I'm trying to say is that right now there is investment being made by utility companies in a push toward these already in law or executive order goals that they've got in California. So this brings me all to the conversation with Trump, right? So, and this California homeowner. So this homeowner I talked to last week said, hey, listen, Trump's in office now and he's drill, baby, drill, right? So my expectation is my energy bill is going to come down for my utility usage with PG&E. That's my expectation. I said, well, what gives you that expectation? He says, well, you know, if we start to drill for more oil, that's gonna significantly help, you know, the cost of generating energy. You know, it's going to make it cheaper. Natural gas prices will come down. And I said, well, are you assuming that PG&E has a lot of exposure to natural gas prices? Are you assuming that that's where they get a majority or an abundance of their energy from, is natural gas plants in California? Is that what you're thinking? Well, yeah. Is that not the case? Is that not where their energy comes from? And I was like, well, let me give you a little bit of an education. So, number one, in terms of the amount or source of energy in California that PG&E uses to make the power that you consume, here's a little statistic for you. And this is as of the most recent data with these percentages as of 2022. But the composition of PG&E's electricity sources are as follows. Okay, nuclear power, 49%. 49% of the energy that is created in the state of California by PG&E, for your benefit if you're in a PG&E territory, almost half of it is coming from the cleanest, most abundant source we can get it from right now, which is nuclear power. And Trump's plan to drill, baby, drill, okay, that has really no effect on nuclear energy generation or the cost of nuclear energy generation. So 49% comes from nuclear energy. Renewable sources in California. For PG&E in their territory, 40% of PG&E's energy comes from renewable sources. So, for example, solar, 20%, 20.2, wind, 6.3, biomass and bio-waste, 3.4, geothermal, 0.3, eligible hydroelectric, 2.5%, and then large-scale hydroelectric generation, so water flowing from the Sierra Nevada, snow melt from the Sierra Nevada mountains down into the valley. PG&E generates 7% from large-scale hydroelectric facilities. So let's take this in a big picture summary here. 49% comes from nuclear. Trump isn't going to change the cost of nuclear energy meaningfully or substantially by drilling. Renewable sources, solar. Trump isn't going to have an effect on the ability for the sun to shine or for energy to come into the house, right? Wind, 6.3%. Biomass, bio-waste, I really don't know if he's going to have an effect on that. I doubt it. Eligible hydroelectric, 2.5. And then large-scale hydroelectric, the flow of water doesn't change because we're drilling a lot more energy, right? So in and of itself, when you look at this, 96%, if you can believe this, of California's energy in PG&E territory is coming from greenhouse gas-free sources. So burning natural gas to create energy would be greenhouse gas emitting, okay? These are gas-free sources. So 96% of California energy comes from sources that have nothing to do with Trump's goal of drill, baby, drill. Now, having said that, I want to point something else to your attention. If you're in a PG&E territory. And this is, pause the video here and go look at one of your recent most handy utility bills from PG&E. And I want to point your attention to the very first page of the bill. Okay, you're going to see two very large numbers on your PG&E electricity bill that you get, okay? One of those numbers is something called generation. It's the generation charge. Think of that as the cost of making the electricity that you consumed from PG&E, their retail charge, their charge to you, their retail cost of the energy that you consumed as a household, okay? Now, just for sake of conversation here, let's assume that generation cost is like $200. So based on how much energy you used, it cost $200 to make that energy and for PG&E to have some profitability on it. Hence, they sent you the bill for $200. But that's not the biggest charge on your PG&E utility bill. The bigger charge on your PG&E utility bill is something called the delivery charge. The cost of using their network of poles, lines, transformers, the cost of 500 crews that they've got with millions and millions, if not billions of dollars worth of trucks and equipment and resources and undergrounding and trenching and, pole delivery trucks and all that stuff. So the delivery charge is often, just take a look at some of your most recent bills, the delivery charge is often twice as expensive as the cost that you were levied to actually make the energy that you actually consumed. So here's my point to all of this. If Trump could make a difference, if his drill baby drill was going to make a difference to your energy bill, it would make the biggest difference if PG&E sourced a majority of their energy from something like natural gas plants. But with 49% of it coming from nuclear, 40% of it coming from, let's say renewable sources, and then 7% of it coming from hydroelectric power, they might only have 3 or 4% that's coming from something that drill baby drill would even help, okay? But my point is that that's actually the smaller charge. The cost of the electricity that you actually consumed is the smaller charge. Trump isn't going to do anything about PG&E's cost of delivering the energy to your house. The delivery charge is twice as corrosive, twice as exposing to you of astronomical numbers in the future, because that's PG&E's monopoly of getting the energy to your actual house. And so I don't expect that Trump, even with his plans of drill baby drill, is going to have a major effect on anybody's utility bill in California. And if I'm right about the future, I actually think the next 10 years in PG&E territory are going to be the worst 10 years that you've likely ever seen from them as they march toward California being carbon neutral by 2040. They're just going to have to spend a massive amount of money, because keep in mind, even with all those sources I just mentioned, California still cannot generate all of the energy it consumes. Almost 31% of the energy that California consumes comes from outside our own state borders. Okay? So this is a problem that will persist. It's a problem that is likely going to get worse. And it's a problem that, in my opinion, the only thing that you can do to get ahead of it, to mitigate it, to save money, to not be exposed, is not if President Trump comes in to save you. It's just solar. It's having power generated at your home through a PV photovoltaic system that takes sunlight and turns it into electricity. Generating the electricity at the home means you don't have to be exposed to PG&E's delivery charges. Generating the electricity at the home means that you are not exposed to natural gas prices should they rise or fall in the future. What it means is that you have autonomy and you have savings. If you can make the power at the house, it's far cheaper than buying it from PG&E and riding their lines of cost and money to get it to your house. It's just way cheaper. So here's a little tip I'll leave you with. If you're interested in exploring solar more substantially, all you've got to do is take out your smartphone right now, text one simple word, YouTube, text YouTube to 84503. We're a solar brokerage company. SolarWise is a solar brokerage company in Northern California. We serve the whole state. We also have representatives and relationships with about 11 different installers throughout the whole country. So we can do ground mount systems, roof mount systems. We can do commercial projects, off-grid projects. We've got a lot of resources. We'd love to share our knowledge, information, and resources with you if you're interested in exploring this further. Just know it's my opinion, my professional opinion, that Trump versus Newsom will not be able to effectively get established what he wants to establish long term. I do think we'll see some changes to that, but the point is that Trump cannot make a difference in your utility bill. I don't expect him to make a big difference in your utility bill at all with any of the policy changes that he's already enacted. So text YouTube to 84503. And thank you so much for watching the Greybeard Talks Solar YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, and share. We're always trying to give you as much information as possible. And here's my last thoughts for you. Keep shining bright. You know, it is a wonderful world that we live in, that you can take sunlight and turn it into electricity to power your life. So keep shining bright, and I'll see you same time, same place next week with another video on solar. Greybeard out.
Thanks for listening to SolarWise. Greybeard Talks Solar. Please visit our website, solarwiseco.com, to learn more. And we will see you next time on SolarWise.